Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another session of podcast. I wish and I'm sure you will enjoy listening to the broadcast.
Our topic for today is Saivam Asaivam. Very little understood and very profound topic that Doctor will throw some light upon. So, sir, the way I understand this topic is very laymanly. That Saivam is something that brings you towards God or towards the nature's consciousness, and Asaivam is anything that takes you away from it. But apart from that, I do not know too much, and I'm sure most of our viewers might not know too much about it. Especially the science and the biology of it, the chemistry of Saivam and Asaivam. It would be wonderful to hear from you about it.
Yeah, we have gone through a lot of works on the food and nutrition side as what's happening in the present scenario. Maybe there's a lot of change in the food and nutrition ever since 1960, I could observe. Processed food after Tetra Pak industry took over,
I see.
and it has grown huge, all these things. As we went through studying the basic commodities of food material produced by agriculture, dairy and all that stuff, and we were trying to understand many things. So we found the ancients were brilliant enough to handle materials, the agricultural part of it, the water management and everything. Of course, we don't know what was the population at that point of time was available, was in existence. They have lived definitely a better life with better understanding of nature and whatnot, which is obviously could be seen.
As close to nature.
Yeah. So then we were curious to know what is this concept of Saivam and Asaivam. There is no much of literatures available on this. But then we can understand one thing. It is not that, as you said, that going close to God or going away from God. No, God is there in you. After all, everything is God's creation.
Right.
So the Adi Shankara says Jivatma and the Paramatma are the same. The soul in you is the speck of the God by itself. That can be easily understood. So it is the food and nutrition what keeps us going. So your physical organism becomes the earth suit for the soul to live inside.
Right.
So how will you protect your physical suit, your physical organism is your responsibility. It becomes your physical responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's very clear. Now what we understood, what was there those days practiced, many people may not like this, you may not like it, but the truth remains the same. The word Saivam means to stay away from food.
Oh.
The word Asaivam is to stay with food and nutrition conditioning.
Oh, that's simple.
Yeah.
And
So one is to live without food, the other one is to live with food.
with food.
This is where, you said what going closer to God or bringing God closer to you or whatever is involved. So the human cells, you have to have a clear understanding here. The human cells, there are 100 trillion cells in your body, which everybody knows. They all survive with glucose as energy fuel. They need energy to run, to work. The heart cell has to work, the skin cell has to work, the liver cell, all the cells have to work. Especially the brain, the neuron cells, there are different type of neuron cells in the brain. It does a lot of work because it consumes a lot of glucose. So we are all, glucose-based conditioning. At the same time, if you see in the modern science today, for you to understand, they very clearly know the human cell produces components required for themselves on their own. Not based on your food and nutrition, based on a energy source, a cosmic wave energy as a raw material. But for functioning, they need glucose. They take in the glucose and they convert it at the mitochondria to ATP molecule. That's a different subject altogether. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That becomes a high energy currency to drive your RNA and DNA at the cytoplasm, wherein the cell starts functioning.
Right.
So this methodology of our survival with the food and nutrition, water is separate. Food and nutrition. You consume food, it gets digested, and then it gets absorbed. All of them go through the portal vein to the liver, then scanned and sent out to the blood. The blood gets polluted. It has to, separate everything, convert everything, and supply all the glucose to all the cells. And the glucose metabolism comes into play. The transport system potassium metabolism comes into play. There are a lot of catabolism, anabolism goes on. It's a huge stuff what's going on there. Right from the time you see your food visually, the chemical reaction starts.
That starts. True.
Yeah, starts. So it is all happening there. So then the blood has to clean itself and come back to normal. So even if you take the diabetic concept, within 2 hours your blood glucose should come within so-and-so number, number, whatever they call it in the modern science today. That they don't want to, they are right, they don't want your glucose level to be high in the blood. That is not going to give you your balance in terms of your physiological function. It starts affecting you. No doubt whatsoever. So food is directly related to the human thought. That's been very vividly been discussed and very vividly been emphasized by many philosophers in the world, because this food contaminated blood what flows in your brain has its own impact on your functioning of your thinking line and birth of thought and whatnot. So here Saivam means going out of food and conditioning. That is, in salt, when we discussed last time, we said that when you go without salt is the first step of spiritual life.
First step towards spirituality.
Yeah. Right? Spiritual life is nothing. You are not going to go towards God, or you're going to come closer to God, or God is going to come and possess. Nothing. The spiritual life is nothing other than the human physical organism has a fantastic organ called the human brain, which is very highly potential, which is not functioning. We are only exercising 2 to 3% of the brain potential in terms of the cortex, the cognitive function. The autonomous nervous system, the sympathetic, the parasympathetic, the control of the internal organ, all those things are different. The medulla oblongata and the cerebellum and all that. When it comes to the question of cerebral cortex, it's a part of cerebrum. The potency of the human brain is very, very high.
Okay.
To make sure that you realize the potency of the brain and make it function, be aware of it and bring it under your control, and then open up the entire potency of the brain, you need to go to the concept of Saivam. Whatever you call it today in the meditation or the dhyana, the penance, there are too many words are there.
Right.
There's a word called meditation. There's a word called penance. When it comes to the question of this Indian language, there's a word called dhyanam, whatever you call it. So, what are you going to dhyan? What are you going to meditate? Are you going to meditate that I'm going to get millions of rupees?
That wouldn't be meditation.
Are you going to meditate that I'm going to live a peaceful life? Or are you going to meditate that my emotional stability is needed? What do you meditate on? All those things are which subjected to human brain function with respect to your thinking. All this cognitive part of the actions of the brain.
Okay.
So Saivam becomes a state of no food. When there is no food, then the glucose conditioning of the human cells will convert. So your liver regulation has to stop. There is a regulation for the liver as long as you live with the food and nutrition conditioning is concerned, with glucose-based functioning. When you go out of it, then the liver regulation will stop. Then there is no function for most of the internal organs. The pancreas take rest. The stomach has no job unless and until it's going to receive some water. You'll be drinking some water. The intestinals will have stop their functions. Well, they're not going to absorb anything and all that. You're going to remain clean. Your biochemistry is go every day pure and pure and pure. Your cells will start receiving the cosmic wave, convert that into energy to run your DNA and RNA.
So that becomes the cosmic energy, becomes the source of energy instead of the glucose.
Already your existence is based on the cosmic wave reception through the spinal cord, which is the antenna between you and the nature.
True.
You're a spinal cord based animal.
Yeah.
The spinal cord plays the role, which is yet to be studied in modern science. It is the fact. You don't know because you can't study this wave theory so far. The Egyptians have done a little,
Right.
which is being mentioned in the pyramid scriptures.
In the
It's
pyramid.
called the occultism. You must have heard a subject called occultism.
Occultism.
Yeah. It is like you sit in the next building. There are so many walls and glasses between us, and I speak to you over the phone. The signals pass through everything and go there.
Yeah.
That in quantum biology they call it as quantum tunneling. There's such a solid substance is there. It takes a tunnel. For that matter to travel, it's a matter by itself, the electromagnetic signals. It has to have a route to go, pass through the wall and go, right?
Right. And
There are many components you can see even in the human body. They come without disturbing the human membrane. They go in, especially the calcium particles, and they go out. That's called quantum tunneling. They find the way through. They don't damage your membrane.
They don't
at all. No. So, in fact, astrophysics says the whole universe is, the whole space is filled up with some kind of a liquid, which is seen in terms of waves. You know, that wave action is going. They call it as liquid only, but it is in a different form, something like that. So later on, when the people, the later civilization which came, they converted this asaivam and saivam to vegetarian and non-vegetarian.
True.
So if you carefully look at these words, the word vegetarian has come from vegetation.
Vegetation.
Your milk is a biological material.
True.
Where is your vegetation here? We don't go and, extract milk from a pumpkin. No, it is from a cow.
It's from a cow. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be discussing in future discussions about milk also. So vegetation led to another word called non-vegetarian. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian.
Non-vegetarian.
So what do you describe as non-vegetarian? Those which does not belong to vegetation becomes non-vegetarian. So what do we eat? We eat eggs, we eat bird meats, we eat many animal meats, we eat marine products, many kinds of fish, we eat crab, we eat squids, we eat prawns. They're all white blood animals, the crab, and they don't have the red blood at all. So in the ancient food and nutrition structure, what they have studied, the closest food to a human body is sea fish. There are many legendary scientists, Swamijis, or many legendary spiritual guys in the ancient days used to eat fish. There is no doubt whatsoever. Fish is God. Where is the fact here is everything is studied in terms of the microbial world.
Sorry. Not to do with it being vegetarian or non-vegetarian.
No. If you take a tomato, it has billions of microorganisms built inside. A green or all vegetables, seeds, fruits, everything has got huge amount of inbuilt microorganism, as we do have trillions of microorganisms in our cells. So likewise, your non-vegetarian material especially the meat or seafoods, or the seafoods, especially the fish. Forget the prawn and crab, especially the fish, the sea fish. Not all the sea fish you can eat. We have identified which are the fish we can eat, which are not toxic to us. Those fish microorganisms built inside by the nature do not harm us.
Ah, okay.
Do not harm us at all. So there is nothing called vegetarian and non-vegetarian. The Saivam Asaivam was converted to vegetarian, non-vegetarian. I would like to call myself a person who practices Saiva. I'm, at the same time I want to eat. So it is some sort of a self-centered part of the brain of a group of people who have, moved away from that meaning of Saiva and Asaiva. Okay. Staying away from food and nutrition, being with the food and nutrition. So, it is very difficult to control your tongue. You know that. When you see a delicious food, you want to eat it.
True.
Especially everybody will fall for an ice cream. No doubt whatsoever. Even a 70-year-old man will, given a chance, he would like to have a good, delicious ice cream. It's so refreshing to the tongue, right? So this Saivam is being without food. Asaivam is being with the food and nutrition, which is being converted to vegetarian and non-vegetarian. Saivam means I don't eat meat. I don't eat eggs. I don't eat this. Now also they've been in the last 15-20 years they want to bring eggs under vegetarian.
And the vegetarian.
Yeah, because the so-called industry, the poultry industry, they have this particular set of lagons. They've been grown to produce eggs. These eggs don't hatch.
They don't hatch.
No.
The broiler.
It doesn't have that center embryo. No, they don't. They only produce for eating purpose. So since the egg is not used for reproduction, so I would like to grab it into my vegetation. I would like to grab it into my vegetarian concept. It's very simple. So if you take the world population, 95 to 96% are vegetarians, non-vegetarians. They eat meat. Yeah, they eat some form of the meat or the other. Only 4 to 5% are the so-called vegetarians,
but most
who doesn't involve in touching eggs or meat and things like that. Yeah, after certain age levels, it is always better to simplify your food. Maybe after the middle age, between 52 to 55, when your death rate of cells is going to be higher, the production rate of cells is going to be little lesser, and that gaps keep widening up as you cross 60, 65, 70, and after 80 you start shrinking. So the death rate is more, the production rate is lesser. At that time, your physical conditions in terms of internal organs function is going to be something different. It's going to be on the lower side.
Right.
So deterioration of all your internal organs starts from the age of 25. Remember this.
Okay.
Except your liver. Liver stays intact till the age of 70.
Unless you...
Yeah. After the age of 70, it starts coming down. So it's always better for you to control your microbial load coming in. That is where the art of cooking comes into play, to maximum eliminate the microbial load of all kinds of food which you're going to eat, which is going to be properly cooked, washed and everything, and then made it into palatable, so that the acidic condition in the stomach will kill whatever little bit is there. And even if it is beyond that, has to go into the intestines and go through the portal vein to the liver will take care. Beyond that, if it goes, that's going to harm you.
Right.
So Saivam means to stay without food. Asaivam means, to live with food and nutrition conditioning, where your blood is constantly contaminated. And it has to struggle to clean itself all the time in the world, because you eat sometimes 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, 6 meals a day. You go to Malaysia, you can see people eating biryani at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Nearly 22 hours a day, the restaurants are open. Or all time the people come and eat. They keep on eating. So this is what is the concept called Saivam and Asaivam.
Since we can't go, I mean, for the normal human being, going away from food is difficult. I mean, not difficult, it's almost impossible. How do we inculcate this concept of Saivism along with our current food?
Why do you want to take you into a banner of a word here? What is the need? You live your life.
Okay.
You put a, you can build a house and live inside the house.
Right.
I don't think so. You should put a word and then go and stand under the word. I want to stand under this umbrella of word called Shaiva. You eat what you want. Dr. Fruman, who has written a book recently about some years back, Genocide of Fast Food, is an American doctor. Okay, fine. Those are the facts are given. In my books, even though I have studied all these things, when the day I feel like having a burger, I don't want to suppress my brain. I will have a burger.
Okay.
No issue. One day I feel like having a pizza, I have a pizza. Nothing wrong. But only when you every day when you're going to have pizza and burger, that's going to harm you.
That's going to harm you.
That's once in a way, it's okay. The more you suppress your brain, the more you get into other problems.
Very true.
Yeah. So you keep a cool mental health, keep a cool mental friend. You feel like doing something, do it. There is no, as long as you're not going to harm others. After all, you're going to pay $100 and buy a pizza and eat, or buy a burger and eat if you get it for that money. That's all. It's simple. So there is nothing called that. How am I to call myself a Saiva, a person who practices Saiva? There is nothing called Saiva, first of all. It was started for something, it was converted into something else. Whatever you want to eat, you eat. There is nothing wrong. I'm not asking you to eat meat. You eat whatever that you've been practicing. By your parents have molded you to something. Their parents have molded them to something. You follow that and keep going. Today, what all the vegetarian houses, the children, if you see, they go to schools and colleges. They get access to all kinds of food what their peer group brings in. They eat, they get used to chicken, eggs and all that. They come home and say, Mama, I want this, I want that. They said, we can't cook this at home and I take you to a restaurant, I'll buy you whatever you want, you eat. Simple it becomes. So there is nothing called, something like what you asked that I should remain within that concept of this or that. This is the real meaning, how it started. How it in the later dates, we don't know. When was those years it was converted to vegetarian and non-vegetarian, and this is all about.
It's more about what does good for your body and mind, and what doesn't, rather than saying a specific kind of food should be Saivam or a specific kind of food should not be Asaivam.
As long as you are, doing some good exercises and things like that, keeping your body under control, eliminate all your toxins from the body. In terms of inflammatory imbalance and all that stuff. Exercising is one good thing. You need good amount of body movement. If you're going to keep on sitting with your touch screens and iPads and screens and for 15, 16 hours a day and all that, there is no much body movement and all that. The macular is only involved. All those things are not going to help you, whatever food you eat.
Thank you very much for spending your quality time. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you enjoyed this session. See you later.